Hello, hello, and welcome to the On My Mind podcast. I'm your host, RemyKeene, and we're back with another episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to better your day by joining me and listening to me talk about how what's on your mind can impact your day in either a great way or a negative way. And I always give you tips on how you can make it a positive impact and have a great impact on your day. Like I said, today I want to share some tips with you on how you can be more successful and keep this on your mind so you can apply it to your life. Just a few tips on and I'm going to share 5 with you on how you can be better at succeeding and having a successful life. Sometimes you might feel like lost and like you don't know what you're doing or don't know how you're gonna get through something. These are just a few lighthearted tips on how you can really see success and succeed in your day. So number 1, make sure you're committed. Be committed through your commitment to whatever you're doing. Establish that in the beginning. Whenever you set down to plan to do something, dedicate time to fully have it all, under control. Every new season of the podcast, I try to do this. I try to sit down and look at what can I commit to. Normally I do this yearly, sometimes every 2 years, but like, what can I do to commit? What can I honestly commit to this project? And you can gain motivation when you pursue something on purpose and you're committed. Be committed to whatever you are wanting to be successful at. Thinking about being committed, you really need to dedicate your time to it, and you need to dedicate resources. You need to dedicate maybe some of your free time to gaining a little bit of knowledge about it. I was recently researching some side hustles and things like that because I'm always just interested in learning things that I can add value to my life with. And it took time. I had to watch a ton of YouTube videos. I read blogs. I looked at resources. I read all sorts of things, articles on it. I read negative reviews on it to see like, oh, it's a this, or, it's a total scam, or, I want to hear everyone's point of view so I can create my own point of view when I get into a new thing. That is basically leading into my next one. Learn from the journey. You have to learn from the journey. So maybe you set out to do something and you commit the time, and then you get in there and you realize, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or this isn't what I wanted it to be. And you could kind of feel down, but no, hunt the good. Learn from the journey. Learn what you learned won't be easily forgotten. So when you can then take that and maybe apply it in the future, it won't be in the same context, yes, but in my regular day job, I have a lot of customer service experience, and I see that constantly be a thing that I use when I'm talking on the podcast, or even in just regular life. How I interact with people, I recognize, oh, this person is probably kind of down because of the words they're using, or the things they're saying aren't matching up with the way they actually look, and things like that. You can learn things and learn to then take them along and learn from the journey. Also, failure, like, that's a big thing, right? Nobody likes to fail. Nobody likes to face that. But if we learn from the journey can sometimes include failure. If you take the failure, you take a step back and you say, did I learn something? And the answer is yes, then boom, guess what? You just decided that you are going to learn from the journey instead of let that time go to waste. And honestly, you've already started to succeed right there. Just because you might have failed in one area does not mean you are a failure. It just means you failed in that area. And you can get right back up and take what you've learned with you onto your next adventure and your next plan that you have setting forward. There's always going to be more time for you to learn and take what you've learned and apply it going forward. So that leads me to number 3. Have fun along the way. If you don't have fun, life is boring. Life's too short not to have fun along the way. Having fun along the way means you're still taking it seriously, you're still giving the effort, you're still committed, but you take the time to realize that if I don't make this enjoyable, it's not going to be enjoyable when I actually achieve what I set out to achieve. So take the time to realize, hey, I want this to be enjoyable. I want to love what I am doing, what I am putting into this, and what I get out. So I am going to have fun along the way, and make sure of that. Set a goal of fun in your journal or in your goal list, whatever you use to track that topic or that thing that you're setting out to do, that you're committed to, that you're learning along the way. Write down a fun goal. Like, hey, I want to at least be able to write down one memory of something fun that I did this section of time, whether it's a week or a month. I need at least, one story that I can tell of something really fun that happened, and, write it down. Just tell yourself the story first, because if you can have fun along the way, then you're gonna really just crush it. Number 4 is change your perspective. Maybe it looks like a failure in one area, and this really applies to everything we've talked about already. But if you change your perspective by seeing it from someone else's point of view, and maybe you can empathize with a new group of people because of what you learned along the way, you get to realize maybe that's why some people seem to not take life seriously, but really they're just having as much fun as they can along the way. It's not like they're any less committed or any less ready to take it on. Think positively and realize that you can change your perspective to see what other people see in that situation. And then if you can do that, you're going to take that and learn and apply it to your future, and you're going to be off to a great start already, right? Man, that's a great thing. That's so good. I'm so glad that we are talking about this, because it's already like I'm thinking of things that I can apply it to in my own life. And I hope you're thinking of the same things. Let's move on to number 5. Take away distractions. If you set out to do something, you're committed to it, you are ready to have fun along the way, don't have your phone out constantly if it's not being used as a tool. If it's being used as a distraction, get it out of there. I was actually in a counseling session once, and I was having real hard time focusing on work and separating myself from play and having fun. One of the big issues was we had just come home. We were work from home because of the situation in the world. My desk sits over there, and then there's this right here. And even though I use this for all of my hobbies and things, it's like that's work, and boom, right here is all the fun things I do with my hobbies and things. And so it's like, oh, it's so hard to separate it when it's right there. They're literally like a foot from each other or less. Like what the counselor suggested was to put a sheet over it, to obviously make it look closed off and separated from where I was at the moment, so that even though it is a foot away, it's completely gone. And I used that technique in my regular life anyway, so I mean, why didn't it occur to me? Well, sometimes the most basic things are really the solution. So say your phone is a distraction. So what would you do with it if it's a distraction? You take it and you set it in a different room. You set it somewhere else, or you take it and you put it in your pocket so it's harder to access. Whatever it is, you're taking away that distraction. So if you can take away the distraction, it makes you more committed. It you get to learn from your journey, and you'll have fun along the way, change your perspective in the way you look at it. So again, that was just a little recap on what we've already talked about. Be honest with yourself in all of these things, and they're going to benefit you. If you're not honest with yourself in all of those things, it's not really going to benefit you, because you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm committed to this, and then you actually aren't, and that's just not really going to help you. I want to encourage you to take this list of these things and make sure that you use them on the new commitments that you make, on if you want to feel more successful, and if you want to really accomplish things, make sure you have these on your checklist of the way you need to prepare, the way you need to feel about it before you take that next step in a new thing, or a thing that you really want to be successful in. It's grow success by practicing these things. I hope this has helped you today. If it has, do me a favor, share this podcast episode with a friend. If you're on YouTube, share the YouTube video for me. If you haven't checked out our YouTube, go check it out. And if you're on a podcast app, please share the podcast with someone. That does a ton for the podcast. I just want more people to be able to be impacted by the message that I share, and it's all to God's glory that I share these messages with you. God is the thing that helps me get through my life, and I hope that you know him too. But until next time, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the On My Mind podcast. If you enjoyed it, I suggest that you watch this episode now. Thank you so much.